Hi, it's Kamon Reynolds. Let's get into this beehive right here. We're going to check that one down there a little bit. I was just running to the bee yard. You're like, Kamon, why are you so decked out? Well, I was working on a syrup pump earlier, and that's why I had these on. And just like any beekeeper, I saw a couple colonies going to town. Actually, all of the colonies are bringing in just yellow and orange and bright red pollens and just all kinds of different shades of yellow. And so I wanted to check a couple of the colonies that especially were kicking butt in this yard. This is not one of them. This one's kind of more average. Unfortunately, this fall, it's just one thing that I'm still learning, is just nutrition is so different every year. The fall flow really impacted the size of our colonies, and it's not that we necessarily lost them. It's just instead of having a bunch of really robust colonies, I really like colonies that have good 9-10 frames or more. We ended up with several that are more around this size right here, which, you know, is workable. I mean, there's nothing bad about that, but you know, I would prefer it to be more like the one we're fixing to get into here in just 1 second. Scoot, bee, scoot. All right. You know, we have some that are a little bit smaller than that. But, I mean, look at this colony right here. This one is awesome. Now, I popped it a second ago to check for the pollen patty without any smoke. It just rained a little bit ago. The bees aren't in the best mood. But they probably need a little bit of a reversal. We're fixing to check that out. And we're going to give them some food if they need it. Because we have, like in our forecast, the next 10 days a chance of rain almost every day. And pretty much we had a little rain today. We had rain yesterday. And it doesn't last all day, thankfully. But we get a lot of it. Okay, there's a decent bit of food in the top. Okay. You know, that feels like I've got about 4 frames worth of honey up here. There's a couple queen cups down in here. And this is where, as a beekeeper, you've got to understand that there's different things going on sometimes with your bees. And this colony right here might be fixing to swarm, and then that one over there might not be ready to swarm for a good month or so. So we're going to stick this on the ground over here until we need it. Whoa! Like I told you, I popped them earlier. Get out of there. Wow, I haven't had one do that in a while. Probably should have worn. Woo! Okay. Oh. There you are. Thank you for that. Well, see, you guys think that this stuff never happens to me because I'm a YouTuber. Yeah, right. They probably give it to me extra. They're like, you're making all these videos of us, and what are we getting out of this? You're getting in the beehive and staying in too long. That's what we're getting out of it. Wow, these bees. Pretty good sized hive though. We won't get into them too long, but this is what's left of the pollen patty, and I know I threw at least a 1.5 to 2 pound patty. That's all we've got. Plus they're bringing in lots of pollen. Big colonies like this eat a lot of food. Up here you can see we have some drone brood. Up in here, Laurel, you don't have to get real close if you don't want to. This hive's not wanting to play today. We have pollen baskets over in here. Yeah, these bees aren't just wanting to play today. We're going to get into them just a little bit more. Mainly I want to see what that bottom box is like, because that top box has got some weight to it. We don't want them backfilling. There's a lot of drone brood up in here. And that's one of the reasons I'm grabbing this frame, is because of all that drone brood. Okay. Wow, there's tons of pollen that's packed down into the cells. That is, I love that maybe as much as anything. You have drone brood up here. Some of this is just fixing to be capped. We have some down here. This one's hatching out. That one's fixing to be capped. So a lot of different stages. Beautiful pollen down in there. Lots of capped brood over here. Fuzzy bees. And we are going to stick this one down here to the side. Wow, these bees don't want to play, do they? Interesting. This is a nice looking hive. When we get down to that next box, I'm anxious to see if we have any brood down there or not. Wow, there's a lot of brood on these frames. Okay. So we have a little bit of brood on this frame right here. The best part is just look at all that pollen right in there. That is gold. Gold. That's going to give us the best bees. That's why beekeeping in spring is so easy compared to the other months. Look at that. Starting to cap all that up right there. Just good, healthy looking hive. Whoa, that's just like nothing but bee bread and packed pollen on that next frame over. That's pretty awesome. That next frame I'm fixing to pull, it is full of brood. Look at this pollen right here that fell off of a bee. Look how red that is. They probably don't like these gloves either. I never wear these things. Oh well, never say never. Here I am today. Let's give them a little bit more smoke. This is where a bee suit comes in handy, but I'm telling you, there's some days you can get into hives like this no problem. Oh yeah. Oh, there's tons of brood over here. Look at all that brood. This hive's fixing to explode. They're going to swarm before too long. They might already have a swarm cell. There's just brood all over the place. Calf brood, man, I'm going to have to start pulling a frame or two. Now, so it's only the 11th of March. So I don't have honey coming in for a while yet. I mean, there's a little bit of nectar trickling in here and there, but not enough to add up to, you know, bees filling up combs right now. Definitely not in this yard. Unfortunately, our home yard's definitely our poorest. Oh, wow. But we definitely need to keep this hive from swarming. So I'll pull a good frame of brood and give that to a healthy colony like that one right there. When I put on its second box and give it an extra frame of brood or give it to another colony. I have gotten tired of trying to help sickly or weak colonies that won't fix themselves. I'm tired of trying to save the wimps and robbing from my champs in the process. Wow, look at all that. There's brood in there. Look at all of that. Just that pollen. It's just so valuable. I was going to throw a big patty on here, but goodness gracious. That is awesome. That is why spring is the best. It's those pollens. Alright, it looks like there's a little bit of brood on the next frame. But let's go down to the next box real quick. I'm telling you what, that one caught me right on the ankle bone too. Wow, I can't remember the last time I had this many bees running around. I feel like I'm fooling with some of those bee weaver queens I tried a long time ago. Alright, now one thing that I'm going to do to this frame is one, I want to make sure the queen's not on here. Don't shake it. There's a present for you, Laurel. Sorry. I just wanted to be able to see some of this. Wow, okay. These bees are just really gearing up. But you can become pollen bound. See, a lot of people talk about getting honey bound, and it happens. It does. But check this out. Let me get these bees smoked down. Brood, pollen, brood. There's all kinds of pollen down in there. And the bees can get pollen bound as well. And bees will swarm because of that. This right here, there's several dead bees on top of this because they got between where I lifted that box and set it back down in these combs. And they built this within the last couple weeks because it wasn't there that long ago. And so I'm getting rid of that. It'll make it a little easier for me to do things. Now, since we're so far removed from adding honey supers, again, I'm going to pull some brood on this one, probably not in this video. But I'll find a colony that could benefit from just a little bit of a boost, but that's growing decently. So I'm not wasting on some sickly colony. Kind of like that one that has a high mite load. I'm not going to be wasting brood on a colony like that. I used to do that, and it seemed like I'd always end up just making more sick bees. I never could get them over the hump. So they can't fix themselves. They're out of luck. And just straightening the frames back so we don't get a bunch of crazy looking combs any more than what we already have. Just kind of get this off of here. Most of this can be left. Alright, this is where we need to probably think about rotating. These boxes are old. I'm fixing to change some of these out right here. Alrighty, so let's see what we've got. Now, I didn't see a lot of honey in that second box. Hardly any, but there was still a good bit of weight. Lots of brood, lots of pollen. And this stinking blackberry briar felt like getting stung. Man, look at all the bees down in this box. Lots of pollen baskets in there too. Alright, oh wow, there's lots of brood. There's brood on 1, 2, 3 frames. Let's see what stages they're at. If they're all older stages, and we're going to rotate, we're probably going to rotate anyways. Yeah. This queen's good though. Very good. Oh man, just tons of pollen again. Not a whole lot of honey. This is all hatching out right here. Tons of bees hatching out. Wait a minute. Sunlight's not very good. For a second, wait a minute. Yeah. Some of this stuff's younger. Fixing to be capped. She's been down here within the last handful of days. Doesn't take long for them to cap that stuff. And it's funny, some queens get bad about staying in one spot, and some of them are really good about jumping even down into boxes. Oh yeah, there's tons of young stuff in this one. Oh wow, I just love it. When bees are working like this, it's so different. There's eggs down in here. All kinds of stuff. Now check out the hive. Well, I'm actually going to pull this all off right here. So there's just tons of pollen coming in. Let's go ahead and look at all that debris down there. There's actually not a bunch for the pollen patties that we've been feeding. You would think with all the pollen that they're bringing in, they'd be kicking more of it out. But they've been eating it. You know, there's a little bit down there, but compared to a patty that's this size, that's as big as the one I threw on last time. That's really not that bad. This bottom board stinks. Probably should replace it with a new one. You know, honestly, some of my best colonies are in equipment with no insulation, nasty equipment, holey equipment, but they have a great queen, low mite loads, and good nutrition. Have I said that before, Lauren? Alright, so what we're going to do is take that box that was in the middle, and we're going to stick it on the bottom. And I have got a bee in my pants. Laurel, remind me to hack down that blackberry plant. Goodness. No need to get stung, I just get skewered. Oh yeah, so we're going to rotate this down. And what I need to do is probably put in... yeah, I need to pull some brood. This one's going to be in swarm mode within, I'd say, a week. Right, so take this frame here. We need to check the top box because if the queen's up there laying, I really want to get her down. We'll be condensing this hive down for a single brood system before too long and taking any brood away they have too much of and giving it away to other colonies that are just kind of like that one right there. It's a great colony. Just with a little bit of help, that one's going to produce a good honey crop this year. So let's take this. This is very light. There's like no significant weight in that one. But that's good. The queen can get into this middle box now and lay it up. Laurel, I hate this blackberry plant. Bees love blackberry nectar though, let me tell you. Some years it is a really significant crop, and a lot of people don't like wild blackberries because of this reason. They spray them and they bush hog them all the time, but they're really important for our honeybees. They produce such a prime, delicious nectar. And honestly, if you cut them periodically, you need to cut them back from time to time. You can get some really delicious wild blackberries from them. And I've harvested gallons like that, and they just have such a complex flavor. Oh, the blackberry crisp my mom used to make off of them. Smack your grandma good, but it was dangerous smacking my grandma. You didn't want to fool with her. Didn't matter if she was 4'9". She'd get you. Alright, so here's the top box. I'm not going to throw that patty on. I've changed my mind. There's just too much pollen in those combs. A little one might not be bad, you know, honestly. I want to check that out. I'll let you guys know. I want to throw a little one in there. You know, the thing of it is, if we get a bunch of rain, we could have some issues. So I want to throw just a little chunk in here, kind of help things out a little bit. Boy, some days things just don't go good for you. I had a really bad day yesterday, and I'll probably tell you about that later in the live chat we're going to have. Probably sometime next week. Alright, so let's see what's up here in this third box. Yeah, woo, I've got one right at my kneecap, tickling me. Lots of, look at all that pollen up in there. This is awesome. There's honey up in here. Get out of there. Whew. I've got so many up my pants, it's not even funny. Alright, sorry about that. It was getting a little tedious there. This is why, folks, you don't always do what those YouTubers do. We are humans just like everybody else, and right now I've got two at least up my left pant leg. It is exciting. Wow, okay, we got brood up here. Just a little bit. Lots of pollen, honey. That's great. You gotta watch a colony like this though. If we don't get any good nectar for a while, they can run out. I'm not saying feed necessarily, but you need to watch it. Man, there's just tons of pollen in there, red and yellow and orange. I'm sorry, I love pollen. It's just so crucial. This fall has taught me a lesson on just how important protein is. Honey's great, but if I had the choice between extra honey and on my pantry or healthy bees because they had plenty of pollen, I'll choose the pollen. Man, there's a decent bit of brood in that frame. That queen's just all over the place. It makes me wonder if there's two queens in this hive. It's very possible. Very possible. Lots of brood on this side. Alright, I'm going to leave it. This colony, though, is fixing to swarm. I'd say it's going to make swarm cells here within the next week or two. So, anyways, I'm going to let you all go. Sorry the video ended up being a little bit long, but this has been a different inspection, so maybe it helped a little bit. Thanks for watching our videos.